Guess who's back, bitches? KiLLs the podcast. Been a while. What's up, fuckers? Had a lot of shit going on, and been a while since I've recorded. I've actually, now that I think about it, I've recorded on 2 other podcasts since recording on my own. That's correct, right? Yes. The Whitetail Distraction podcast, as well as the Outdoor Drive. Been on an episode of each of them. Just haven't sat down here in the studio, aka my living room on the farm, to record an episode of KiLLs It. So that's what's going on. It's been a while. I apologize, but we're getting back on this shit. And this episode, we're going to get right in with a Secretive service shout out sent in from my buddy Mitch. This dude, he reached out to me. I believe he found out about me and that I was in Maryland from Truth from the Stand podcast. Shout out to my boy Clint. And so he reached out to me and said, hey, you're in Maryland, not too far from me. I'm new to hunting. He said, I was wondering if you could help me break down some of my properties. Said, yeah, man, sure. Send me a map, whatever, and see what we can do. And turns out he was right down the street from me where he was working from my job. So, yeah, he just popped on over to work. Had never met the kids. Said, come on over. Helped him break down the maps, figure some things out. And he had got some Wild Edge steps, needed a couple more. So, thankfully, Drew had hooked me up with some. So, I passed it along and I hooked him up with a couple. So, yeah, that's my boy Mitch. And he sent in a Secretive service shout out. Ram Muhanand. That is his father, and he has been in law enforcement for over 30 years, and he became an officer simply because he wanted to make a difference. And, being Mitch's father, to him and his friends, he certainly has made a difference. Mitch got out, done a lot of hunting this year, was on some good bucks. Power of the podcast, just another friend I've made through the connection of podcasting, and not even my podcast. Again, that was Truth from the Stand, Clint Campbell. If you ain't heard my episode with him, what number it is, I can't remember, but I've actually got a lot of feedback from that episode, and that is one of the big episodes that made me want to start KiLLs It, start my own platform, start doing my own shit. And since this is my own shit, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my own Secretive service shout out. This one is important to me because it comes from a friend, a buddy of mine, Bob. His father recently passed away, and that's who I want to give the Secretive service shout out. This is from the words of my buddy Bob himself. He says, my dad was 10 years old when a drunk driver killed his sister and mother, and he was pronounced dead, but he survived. In Vietnam, he was wounded twice, given his last rites, and still survived. As a correction officer, he was jumped and stabbed more than once. He saw the worst of this world had to offer, yet he always had a good attitude, loved everyone, loved his life, lived it to the fullest, and his sons and family were his pride and joy. So let's take a moment of silence for Bob's father. Thank you for your service to this country. Bob, thank you for following suit. Appreciate your service and just for being a kick-ass dude. Anyone that is wondering what I'm talking about, Secretive service shout out. It's just a small segment on the podcast where I give some recognition to men and women that make a difference in people's lives, and don't do it for the recognition. They're the ones that we just want to show our appreciation for and give them a moment here on the podcast. If you got one, please send it in. KiLLs It Podcast, Instagram. Just go ahead and message me, and we'll get you plugged in. I really appreciate everyone that sent them in. Many of them are coming in anonymously, which is cool too. I don't care. Again, it's not about me. It's not about them. It's about the person we're shouting out. So thank you to everyone that is sent in. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for your father's service as well, and my boy Mitch. Kill some shit, brother. This episode, got a guest, joins me here in studio, as I was just speaking of, and he goes hard. He self-films, solo hunts, solo films. He uses the top-of-the-line equipment. He takes some pretty crazy adventures. He goes to some cool-ass places after some cool game, and he makes some pretty cool videos, and in fact, he fully believes his videos are top-notch and equivalent quality of pretty much anything out there. He's actually got one. He's entered into the Full Draw Film Festival, the Full Draw Adventure. So yeah, you can check that out. Stagstalker. You can look him up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that. He's got some dope videos. Like I said, he is very confident in his work and believes that his work's equivalent to pretty much anything else out there. So check it out. He's also where it is even better than he is self-filming is when he picks up a golf club. The dude's pretty fucking crazy. I don't know shit about golf, but I tell you what, watching some of his Instagram stories, I feel like I do. Yeah, it was cool to get Justin in here, sit down, talk. Like I said, he self-films, something I'm big into, very passionate about. And, obviously, as you'll hear through this, our styles and thoughts on things a lot of times are a little different. Sometimes they do coincide, but, we do things differently. And, that's all part of it. Very confident in what he does, and it was fun to sit down, talk to him. And let me just forewarn, we definitely got a few Tito's flowing this episode, and talk a little shit and everything else. He also does a lot of name dropping. He's looks at himself in the professional level, and he compares himself as such. And it was, again, cool to sit down, have an episode with a guy that self-films, does what I do. Obviously we do it different. We all do things a little different, right? That's what makes it fucking entertaining. Otherwise, it'd be the same old boring shit from everyone. Boom, boom. Dynamic Videocast. That's right. When you hear that sound, if you're listening to this on an audio-only platform, you hear that noise, that means you're missing out on cool shit. If you hear that noise and you're on YouTube or another videocast, dynamic videocast of this, you will hear and know that there is cool shit going on. So what I've decided to do with this podcast, Kills It, is as we are talking about whatever the fuck it is, if I have some type of footage or photos that are relevant to what we were speaking of, as we're talking, you will hear that noise in the background. And what that means is turn your attention to the screen. So if you're listening to this to an audio only, this is a podcast you're going to want to see. There is some epic footage, a little bit of mine, a lot from him, because as we're talking, we both self-film. We capture most of our adventures. So as we're talking, a lot of that comes up. And yeah, he sent me over a good bit of footage I've spliced in. Couple things we talked about of my adventures as well. So I've spliced them in. Definitely pretty dynamic when it comes to dynamic videocast. So be sure to check it out. I've done that on several episodes right now, getting pretty cool feedback from it. Let me know what you think. You like it? You don't like it? Is it annoying on the audio platform, or does it let you know listening in the audio platform that, hey, I need to go check this out because it sounds pretty fucking dope what they're talking about right now, and I want to see the shit. Just don't dynamic videocast and drive. Got it? Got it. All right. Back to this episode. It's the only time I've got to spend with Justin besides hanging out on the boat, shooting fish, and filming one night. So it was cool to just spend a little bit more time with him and, you know, just shoot the shit and talk about self-filming and solo hunting. And let's get on to it. Enough talking from myself.
You were born primal. You were born primal.
What the fuck's up, y'all? Myron Assassin, firing off from the farm here in the Free State. This time, we doing it in studio, and I got a guy that does a lot of the same shit I do. What do I mean by that? He grinds, he goes hard, he's going for the kill, all bow for the most part, you know, and then solo. Does the shit all by himself. I know the deal. It ain't fucking easy. Here we go. Stagstalker. All right, y'all. Like I said, this guy, he is a self-filmer. He goes hard. He does his own editing, everything else. He takes it to another fucking level than I do. I mean, my best camera you are using to get your secondary angles. So as we get into it, Justin, let us know basically where can we find your shit? Where can we consume your content? How can people contact you? What you got going on?
Yo, check it. Thanks for having me, bro.
Cheers, man.
I obviously follow you on Instagram, going crazy, bow fishing, killing stuff, and just glad to be here. You can find my stuff on Facebook, Instagram, looking at a website shortly, YouTube, Stagstalker, stag meaning alone. Everyone thinks it's a deer or whatever. You can, but stag meaning alone, stalker.
Got it. I like it. The solo.
Yeah, I like stalking, filming. You got some skill. I like it. Tree stand, blind,
Animals,
whatever.
Just to be
animals.
clear.
I mean, Africa to Canada, bear, elk, deer, pigs, anything.
Good shit, dude. Good shit. I mean, so how Justin and I met was on the power plant. Nick Mather, working class outdoorsman. How did you guys meet? I guess
I think it was from Judge, Problem Child, bow fishing.
Fuck yeah, badass dude.
Yeah. He's a good dude. He sees my stuff. We talk about it, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, let's go bow fishing, dude." I'm gonna tell you what, I'm pretty damn good with a bow. You give me bow fishing, I'm like, what?
Dude, we were just talking about this last podcast. The best bow fishermen are those that have never shot a fucking bow before.
No,
because when you've shot a bow and you've trained your brain to hit what you were looking at, the fish is not where you see it. With the refraction of the water, that fish physically is not where you see it. So therefore, you got to retrain your brain of instinctive shooting. So the best shooters we have on board are usually those that have never shot a bow.
And let me tell you what, if you want to talk about fun, exciting, you go bow fishing. I don't care who you are. I mean, listen, you could go shoot archery 3D, and you can go bow hunting a tree stand, whatever. But you go bow fishing with Nick or working class outdoorsman, you, Judgy. I mean, dang, that's fun.
That's what I was saying. If you like fishing and the outdoors, and you like shooting a bow, there's nothing fucking
like
cooler than
and
bow
you
fishing.
Stacking freaking barrels, dude.
Well, and anybody want to see this, actually, I'll post it, right? I think I put it. The video that you made from was it just one night, or did you?
Yeah, it was only one night. No,
okay.
it was only one night with you guys, and honestly, from a filming standpoint, it's just sick.
Yeah,
you know, lights and all that stuff. We'll get the drones going this year. I mean, new content for Nick and you guys are obviously always a must. So
it's gonna be dope. We got some big things going on. We are taking on some working with some of the old partnerships to develop even sponsorships.
Yep.
And one of them being Megamouth, and I've already told him we're gonna put out the best content for him out there.
No doubt.
We're gonna fucking kill the game when it comes to content in them this year. It's gonna be fucking dope. But so. Yeah, we are going to be taking people out, so anybody want to look that up, get a hold of me or Nick. It's pretty easy. But, so yeah, that's going out to film us, but your whole thing, for the most part, I think you have a video of filming another guy, but for the most part, you were out there solo hunting, solo filming.
I think I saw Burnett one time. I don't know, randomly, we were looking at old clips of me like handy cam style. Like back in the day, like you got $300 and you go buy a stupid handy cam. You
dude, I got a box full of them fucking mini DVD
yeah, those
tapes.
Canon Vixia or whatever. And like, dude, you have no idea what shutter and exposure is, and then ISO, and then you get in there and you're like, how do I film it? And I got it done on a turkey in 2000. I actually killed a turkey, which is amazing. If you follow me, I've had some woes with turkeys. I hate them. But I actually killed one. That was my first one. Then I filmed the mountain lion hunt. And by the way, if you want to kill, I'm going to go mountain lion hunt in February, probably next year for Super 10. That's just an epic hunt out west. Mountain lion's real deal, dude. Predator's sick.
A mountain lion hunt for me, I honestly think just being part of it and witnessing it would be as fulfilling to me as the kill.
For sure.
I don't have a high desire to go shoot one, but the way they are hunted, I would definitely enjoy being part of that.
I talked to the guy that runs the dogs. He had like 6 dogs. And they don't treat dogs like you and I treat dogs. If they don't chase mountain lions, they'll kill them. Like, it just is what it is.
Some people, they are tools. I mean, it is weird.
It's crazy. And I asked him, I'm like, how many times have you seen a mountain lion without dogs? Nothing.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
So 30 years of mountain lion hunting, 0 times. So obviously from a predator standpoint, they're sick.
Yeah.
I was out in Arizona a few weeks ago, and mountain lion tracks were next to a cow carcass. And I don't know, that's kind of sketchy. I've been to some places
that
and I'm
thing's
like,
probably stalking you.
Easy.
Yeah, that thing's probably stalking you.
So, but yeah, I mean, anything outdoors is obviously me. Solo, I started by myself, for myself. I just thought it was cool to kind of figure it out. And I always wanted a guy to travel with, but never did. So started that, and there we go.
Dude, that's exactly the same thing. It started as the Modern Assassins, plural. It was supposed to be me, a cousin, couple buddies, and kind of filming each other, filming ourselves, but a collaborative thing. And it just kept ending up being I'm the only one doing shit.
Yep.
And so I just more and more just kept doing all my own shit. And then it basically became a solo thing.
Yep.
But dude, you're fucking crazy. I have like a A7 Mark III as my best camera, and I don't even usually take that into the tree with me anymore because I really like to use a zoom and be dynamic with my camera work.
For sure.
And so what I have is an upper secondary angle I have in a GoPro. You have a fucking tree arm. And
so that's my secondary. That's my interview. I got a 20 millimeter lens on that, and it's funny. We went to the store the other day to get a new lens. Where was I? I was going to Arizona. I wanted the 24 to
240.
Yeah, 24
That's
240.
what I shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to take that out there. I wanted a 100 400 just in case. I'm going to take that for Alaska.
And even then, you feel so short range.
Yeah, for sure. But like the A7 III, you can pump it, so it's 1.5.
Yes.
So if you know that, it helps, right? So, but we'll talk about Alaska a little bit later. But I look at that and I go, wow, I got XA20. I got the A7 III. I got Sony RX10, RX10 II, RX100, and an RX100 IV. So you look at those 6-7 cameras, you can do the math on the cash if you want.
Yeah, it's about fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. But at the time,
and it's a lot to carry, dude.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Dude, I mean, not only is it a lot to carry in the weight, but it's a lot to carry in the bulk, and it's a lot to carry like it's fucking valuable and it's fragile
and
it's shit that
in the air. Dude,
and you're going up and down hills, you're going up and down slopes, you're going in and out of tree stands, you're going in and out of rocks, and then you're carrying a fucking camera on a tripod.
Yep.
When's the ground ever level? Just about fucking never.
Yep.
So as you're moving all the time and you're trying to set the tripod down, even just to, move your own body, You know, the whole time you're just clenching your
funny.
asshole,
I
hoping
watched-
your tripod don't tip over and your camera shatter.
You ever follow Sub 7 Studios? You got to follow those guys because those are
say I do.
Brian Plow, all those guys that like were on the TV show guys. They got grouped together. Now they're, you know, UA Hunt gets them, Remy gets them, Lakoski gets them. All these guys are getting them now because, you know, I'm watching them hunt and I'm watching them film. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the easiest thing in the world because they got 4 cameramen. Bro, if you want to do a film, you get 4 cameramen with freaking Sonys nowadays. You're like, ooh, stop the mic. You're good.
It's not the same as it used to be to where the cameraman had to be on your shoulder and on your ass. And you had to have the communication and you had to have the same view. And now you can have guys from distance and everything with wireless mics and everything else.
And the
it's
lenses
a whole
nowadays.
new
The
fucking
lenses
game.
nowadays, you could literally you could stalk an animal. I can film you from 200 yards away, 300 yards away. And then the phone scopes. How about the phone scopes?
Yep.
You go out west, you can film a freaking 340 bullet, 400 yards, no problem.
Well, and then not even that. Once the footage can be captured in such a high quality now that you can then take that to an editing program.
Yep.
You can crop to where you take out all the shake.
Yep.
You know, you can zoom in so much further.
It's honestly like Photoshop for videos.
It can be.
I mean, you can make anyone look good.
But you know, I'm not sure if I've said this on my own podcast or not, but the name The Modern Assassins, that started one day. I just was like, I need to come up with some type of name, whatever. And I was sitting in a tree stand, and I mainly bow hunt like you do as well.
Yep.
You know, so I was thinking of something primitive along the lines of primitive.
Yeah, love that.
And it being a primitive weapon. And I kept trying to play off of kind of that word and that mindset. And I'm looking at my bow and I'm like, this is not a fucking primitive weapon. I'm like, this is aircraft grade aluminum with layered glass limbs, fiber optic sights, carbon arrows.
Shoot out to 100 yards, no problem.
And I'm like, this is not a fucking a primitive weapon. I was like, this is some modern assassin type shit.
Yeah.
And then I killed a deer that night and I just said modern assassins and it just
like that.
kind of fucking stuck from there. And it kind of plays into the whole film game and everything too. Like, what can you use to your advantage? Like, what can you use to your advantage and still be fair chase? What can you use to capture those views? And, you know, like, I can really respect what you do because I know how much fucking work it takes. I've been doing it for fucking years myself. I've captured a ton of self-film kills, and some of them good, and then there's nothing worse than when that camera's half out of frame or the camera's focused on a branch instead of the deer, and it's like you put in so much work for that moment. And every hunter does. Yep. Every hunter works for that one moment, but it's almost like you have 2 to 3 to even 4 shots to process and worry about, because it's not just putting the arrow in the right place.
It's funny. So if you watch my elk hunt, so my elk hunt's probably my best self-film kill.
Dude.
I would put it against anything out there, right?
Dude.
7 yards on the ground, self-film, 2 angles, good kill. Then I get another arrow at 42 yards, and then he falls on film within 60.
The craziest thing
sick.
about that whole fucking hunt is after the shot.
I think we're going to have to put that up there.
Dude. Yeah. Like everybody remember this fucking sound drop? Ooh. Yeah, that's going to come again for the edited version so you can see the shit. Dude, there's red mist. Every time
he's got four holes in him, dude.
Every time that bull breathes, it's just
done.
Like, it's not even like a spray paint can. It's like a fucking paint gun. Just whoosh. I can only imagine what the trees and bushes look like.
And the sick part is that, like, you know, it was public land, do it yourself, nothing. It was over to the counter tag. You can say it's a whatever bull. I don't really give a shit. It's a fucking booner to me.
Oh, dude,
You know, how it went down.
I would have been just as fucking ecstatic with that bull.
And it was the first day, came out, never happens ever on the first day, and it came out with a buddy I've actually met on Facebook.
No shit.
We did the online thing, you know, you just don't know. You know, it's kind of like Bumble. You know, you just don't know. You don't know what you're gonna like figure out when you meet. And we met in the airport. We drove 15 hours, and boom, we're in Idaho, and then we're hugging each other because we just killed a bull.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell just happened? We just met each other.
And again, you set the camera up yourself.
Yep.
You know, you had a
tripod.
camera on your bow facing you.
And then I had a camera on my tripod.
As you know, especially being an editor, but not only a filmer, but an editor, there's nothing more important than having that second angle.
And I don't care who you are. If you want to post-produce, that's bullshit in my mind. Like, do it real. Have it real deal. If you're only filming one camera, don't do the post-production because we know it's one camera. Come on, dude.
You know, now you do a
let me put the
clip my release on, and then it get a view of me drawing back.
Hang on, let me get on full draw.
That's the same with me. If I don't capture that moment for real, I just don't have that to use.
Listen, I will definitely think of differently than you if you put that in there.
Oh, I believe it, dude. I'm the same way.
I know.
Raw, real, no bullshit, man.
Exactly.
If I don't fucking have it, there is no remake.
Well, you know, I actually puked on camera in Kentucky. I'll throw that on there if you want to watch puking.
Oh my gosh. That just happened. Oh my God.
But I kill my biggest non-typical velvet at 24 yards, and I'm puking in the tree. Hey, it is what it is, man.
Dude, real, no
and
bullshit.
It's so funny because, you know, people like, how do you cry? How do you puke and stuff? And I'm like, hang on. Let's think about this for a second. You drive all night. You put all your money in this. You got probably $10,000 worth of camera stuff in the tree, okay? You hunt maybe 70 hours. I was actually at 130 in 2 weeks. So I went Tennessee, then Kentucky in 94 degrees. Then he walks out and you arrow him.
Were you camping out of your vehicle at that time?
No, not that one. I actually, luckily,
found that'd be fucking miserable.
No. And every time I want to camp or do something, you think about the weather because it's brutal. That Wyoming deal sucked. I actually had the air conditioner in my film because I just couldn't handle it. It was sucked because it was so hot in my 4Runner. So, you know, it's funny because I look at all the pretty boys of the industry, and Waddell did a great job. And I'm not saying anything bad against them. They busted their ass to get there. And you look at the old days, the Realtree Jordan days, all that stuff. And I look at that.
Which is where Waddell started.
Yeah, all those guys. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ritz and Lindsay, and they all got together. And I look at what I do, and I'm just like, man, it sucks, but it's so much fun.
It's the same boat I'm in. I enjoy doing it myself. I really enjoy editing myself too. It's hard because I hate fucking listening to myself.
Yeah.
So it's hard,
especially because you're like, dude, I know exactly what's gonna happen. And like, this is
right.
Ridiculous.
And the thing is, like, I always really want to tell the stories in my video. Like that's the point of capturing the whole story on film and the whole hunt on film. To me, it's not about that shot. I mean, sure, you get that kill shot. That's what you're there for.
Yep.
You know, that's the end goal. That's what you're literally aiming for, figuratively and literally. But it's the whole story behind it that and what's crazier is when a story somehow wraps back around or something comes into play that you never thought, or like you're like, you know what, I remember last year about this time I saw this happen and that same ridge happens to be on fire at that same time. Or it's like, but something you experienced that you never thought would be like, for instance, this year, perfect example, this freaky ass buck I saw. I got velvet footage of him, and then I got one picture of him late season. I passed him late last year, and didn't realize how much he was going to blow up. He's got a broken front leg. He's just a freak. His antlers stick straight up out of his head.
Crazy
I
character.
mean, yeah, oh yeah. He's probably only 6 to 8 inches wide, but he's like 20 inches tall or some shit.
That's crazy.
But I didn't even save the footage because I was like, well, you know, when I saw him last year, I'm like, all right, little ass bug.
How much footage you lose and you just don't even like, dude you want to produce an episode and you're like, man, there's so many cool other things, but you got to fit it into 8 to 12 minutes. Oh, that's tough.
One thing that I'm going to love about doing this podcast the way I am is because I don't like to talk about shit if I don't have film of it.
Yeah.
And so as I'm telling a lot of these stories, and I have footage that maybe I couldn't make a whole episode from, or I haven't used to make a specific clip, I know throughout this podcast, a lot of that shit's going to come up and be talked about. And that's a place I'm going to get to pull shit out of the fucking archives and use it and show it. You know, that's like exactly why I didn't talk about this sickest stag we're sitting here looking at until I finished the video. And I didn't do that for like a fucking year after I killed it.
Not for nothing. I got 8 episodes in the works. I got Africa 2.0. I got Iowa late season. I shot the wrong deer, which was a bigger deer, but it was crazy. I mean, you should see the footage.
Wrong deer, but bigger. That don't sound like a wrong decision.
I can't believe I had the footage. I had the camera on the deer. I'll send it to you. It's crazy. It was a good 8-pointer, and the guy said, hey, you got to shoot an 8-pointer on this property. No problem. Cool. Going to shoot the 8-pointer. Look at it. Can't find him in the scope. Well, his head went down the beans. Another deer walks behind him. Bigger, solid 8-pointer. Boom. Drop him on camera. I'm good. I just made a sick video here. 4 days in Iowa, kill a late season giant. Walk up. It's the wrong deer. It was a bigger 8-pointer, and he freaking shedded.
No shit.
Yeah. And I got the rack. It was probably I hate measuring deer, but I want to say it was like 68 or 72 inches on that one left side. And you'll see the left side. It is a giant left side, but I hate scoring deer, but that's what they do. So
these deer here, I have absolutely no idea.
And who gives a shit?
I mean, they're not giants by any means, but I don't even know.
You know what's funny? And this is what Jeff Lindsay killed Chocolate this year. And if you follow what Lindsay did, he's got Chocolate, and obviously these guys do a good job. Lakoski does a great job of keeping, obviously, tabs on these deer. And when you have massive land, you can keep tabs. I'm not saying it's bad, but you can do it. And they do a good job. And Jeff Lindsay should pay this cameraman and producer a little more money than what they do because he makes them look good. So he killed Chocolate late season, and everyone just went freaking nuts. The guy killed in Kansas, the new non-typical. Brewster killed another non-typical world record. And I don't know, dude. You know, my deer I chased for 72 days this year. That's my deer. Like, I fucking lived and died by that. I don't give a fuck about Brewster killed a 340-inch deer. I just don't care. I mean, that's cool. That's great. That's your deer.
I feel you.
Lindsay, and Lindsay has the same thought of Chocolate because that's his deal. But like that's where I think hunters have a misconception of like, hey, dude, you just killed a giant. Like, dude, that was your quest.
I think it's all part of the pendulum swing. I think when hunting shows as both informative information and entertainment, I believe when they came out, they literally, there was zero fucks what it was you killed. It was whether it be as long as it was legal
and on camera.
And yes, on camera, legal, ethical. You know, there wasn't a stigma to it like that at all. And
it wasn't a 172 inches deer on the right side.
As it became lucrative to where you could make a living, and there was money in it. Now there's competition in it, and it's not only to give the best information and the best entertainment and the best quality, but now for the bigger and quote unquote trophy animals. And which is just a stigmatized word to the hunting industry, but that's kind of a different topic. But it seems like it went so far into that
So
to where people are even dishonest
yeah.
about the deer that they have. It isn't always legal, isn't always even
They're
ethical.
chasing deer illegally just to make up those stupid stories. And that's crazy to me.
I get it. And that was why when I started doing this and I realized how fake that a lot of the shit was, that's when I was like, okay, I don't care if I have to do all this by myself.
Yep.
I'm not going to be part of a team, and I'm not calling anyone out on it, but there's a lot of people that are just fake as fuck. And so my whole thing's always been raw, real, no bullshit. But I think
love that
pendulum swing went so far to showing nothing but these giants and everything that it swung out of the range of relativity.
Oh, yeah.
To where there's a lot of people like you and I that we don't relate to going and chasing those deer. But there's a lot of guys that relate to shooting the bucks they have available, shooting does to fill
How much
tags
time,
and fill
right?
the freezer.
Like, what time?
Well, and then the dream of going out of state
Oh, yeah.
and chasing stuff.
For sure. I've done that too many times.
Exactly. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fucking dream,
That
dude.
is.
Like, to the average guy.
Yep.
And you have a lot of people now where this pendulum is swinging back into. They would rather watch a guy bust his fucking ass, go out and do something on his own, and it maybe not even be as good of footage and certainly not as big a deer, and it be more relative and more entertaining to the audience now.
Well, I think because the pendulum swung so hard,
Exactly.
now you got the no-namers, or you call it, zero sponsors. Dude, I'll put my stuff against Sub 7 and Lakoski, and I pay for everything I do. I mean, I don't care. It don't matter to me. But like, I look at the pendulum go so hard, and now you got the guys that are coming in that are raw, they're real, they have jobs other than hunting, and they just love it and bust their shit to get the job done. And then they show their showcase, and they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. I can do that. I can get an over the counter tag. I can go to Arizona, which I did 3 weeks ago, over the counter tag, javelina, mule deer, boom. I got an adventure of a lifetime.
And again, that's the relativity.
Yeah.
It's something tangible.
Let's not go to a $7,000 lodge and private ranch and guide and cameraman and go kill a 170, right? Let's go out there and have fun.
Thing and you can do it and you can afford it, fucking do it. But
I know I can't.
but and again, you find, okay, everybody's favorite character, be it from a movie, be it from a cartoon as a child, your favorite book, it doesn't matter. Your favorite character, it's someone you in some way relate to or look up to, and it's something that you strive and think maybe you could be, whether it be literal or figurative. It's when it's just unrealistic or untangible, sure, it's entertaining, but you just don't get as captivated.
Exactly.
I don't think.
No, I like, listen, at the end of the day, if I can watch what you do and go, hey, you're a normal everyday guy, right? It gives me a little bit of a, oh, okay, I can do that, right? Like whatever. I mean, for me, shit, if I have a day off, I'm hunting. Like, I don't take a vacation. Like, every vacation is a hunting. And let me tell you what, I spend anywhere from 500 to 600 hours in a damn tree a year. That sucks. It's not fun. I do it because I need to get content and get episodes. So
it's
that's
a
what
fine
it is.
line, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
You want to do it because it is fun and all. And that's one thing that this year, there was times that I actually took a break for a little bit.
Oh,
because,
nice. That's good for you, buddy.
Dude, there was times I was going out and hunting when I really didn't even have the drive and want to go hunt. And I was doing it because I felt like I had to be out there. And then that's when you start to get sloppy. And that's when it's
garbage.
It is. And so I actually took a break for a little bit.
You make bad decisions.
You do.
And especially self-filming, you better be on your shit.
Exactly.
I mean, that's end all be all. I don't care who you
and
are.
the one day you don't do the beginning
you're
interview, or you forget to do this, or you forget to charge that battery, and you don't have that second angle, that's when shit happens.
Shit happens.
It's
every time.
So, it was like a couple weeks where I was like, fuck it, I'm just taking brick goose hunting. Like, I don't even feel like fucking deer hunting right now and doing the shit. And
that's cool.
We were having a lot of fun doing waterfowl too, obviously, but it was kind of like, I just step back and get that drive want to go out again.
So 3 years ago, I spent 52 days on the road. 52 days on the road. I went to Saskatchewan, Canada for 33, Kansas and Illinois. You want to talk about big bucks? It's the biggest of the biggest. I don't think I have a deer over 130 on camera in 52 days. And I did a lot of all-day sits.
No shit.
So you just think about that aspect of that opportunity, and everybody in their brain would want to go hunt Kansas, Illinois, Saskatchewan for anything, and they do. And I did it for 52 days, and I didn't get over. I mean, I'm trying to think about producing the documentary because it was a sick documentary, and I would never do it again because it sucked. I did 31 all-day sits in Saskatchewan, and then the 31st day I had a beautiful buck come out. And I whiffed him 125 yards with a rifle because I needed to shoot a deer on camera because that's what I thought needed to be done. And I missed. And I cried. And I cried. And after that 52 days, I got home and everyone's like, hey, was it worth it? Like everyone's like, you just put everything in there. And I look at that and I go, it was probably the most miserable 52 days of my life. Because I was there to do something, right?
Right.
You're not there to enjoy the beautiful sunsets and sunrises and the four-wheeler rides and the beautiful sunrise at Kansas and Illinois. I was there to try to film and kill. And when you do that, you just put that pressure on yourself. And as a self-filmer, as a guy that has zero sponsors, zero money, I'm just trying to get shit done so I can get a license to go out and hunt. Lack of pressure helps. More fun helps.
And no one puts more pressure on you than
yourself.
You. Yeah.
I mean, it just is.
That's the same.
You got to get it done. And it sucks.
I mean, but that's, if you didn't have you on your own ass like that, you wouldn't be taking the camera with you in the first place because, I mean, you're going to fuck up a lot more opportunities trying to film. Yeah. Than self-film than you're ever actually going to
Let's talk about camera setups real quick because obviously this is I hope the listeners like cameras and like setups and like self-filming. I love it. I mean, I have almost 20 different cameras, and I've had different setups through the years. I consider myself one of the best in the country because
your shit's pretty fucking good, man. Like I said, I have a big respect for it because I know how hard it is to self-film.
And I look at how I do things in the field, and if people understood how the shortcuts and make it easier on them, because everyone thinks it's hard, and it really is not. It's just what we want to make it, right? So like little handy cam and GoPro, dude, I mean, tell you what, I got the GoPro Hero 8. My girlfriend got it for me this year. Wow. I got it in Arizona. Sick. I got the GoPro Fusion 360, even sicker. 360 is badass.
You have some dope
I don't care. I don't care what you say. 360 is sick. Then you have the Sonys. You have whatever camera you want to film with that zoom in, zoom out. You have the XA20. Very simple, press and play. No big deal. Then you got the zoom in lenses if you want. Ton of lenses out there. Ton of cameras. Whatever you want to do, go do it, man. And I don't want to say like I hammer Tacticam, but I have a Tacticam. I love a Tacticam. It's great. I have GoPros too, but Tacticam can mount on your stabilizer. You can kill it in a Tacticam. I mean, literally, you could be a self-filmer without even being a great filmer. You just press. And then you got the remotes, and then you got the freaking film through scope. You can film through a scope, dude. For sure. I mean, Tacticam's got that beat hands down, and I don't care what you say. That's badass footage.
Well, and that's one of the things that, we've talked about a little bit briefly off of this podcast and everything is, as we mentioned in the beginning, you use that A7 Mark III for your secondary film.
Yeah.
I went into the realm of, okay, I want to capture a little bit better footage. So I started taking a DSLR. That's the same camera I got. I've always been a huge fan of Sony because I've had several of the cameras.
Canon 50 and Canon Mark D and all that stuff.
I personally have had so many Sonys that I have put through shit that should have fucking killed them 10 times over, and they just kept working until something happened where it was just like, yeah, there's no chance of survival. So they've always worked for me. And basically what I'm getting at is even taking the DSLR and doing all that, I ended up, for my filming style, my moving style, my hunting style, I ended up going back to the camcorder instead of the DSLR because I like to have that camera on my hip in a holster to where if I'm walking in and something happens, I can pull that thing out immediately and film. And I can't quite do that with the DSLR all the time. The way that I like to put GoPros on the ground or in tiny little places, I kind of found limitations.
It's badass though, dude.
That's when it gets cool.
I got. You know what? I'm gonna find that footage of the bear kill. I have a pass through, front and back. I'll put that up.
Beautiful.
I'll send it to you.
I do have.
I
have one deer so far that you see the arrow pass through it, and it's pretty cool. I paused the GoPro, and it's got the lighted knock.
Oh, that's sick.
A tracer of the lighted knock on both sides. So it looks like a laser beam literally ripping right through her. It's pretty fucking dope.
It's funny now because I've filmed so much with the drones. I mean, drones is huge. But, I just put that film in for that full draw adventure stuff, right?
Yes, so let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that because I showed you that film a little earlier just to kind of showcase a little bit of that. It's stepping out into the film world instead of the episode. So doing that differently, for me, I have so many. It was
more of a short documentary than an episode.
Yeah, short documentary. I would put that on the History Channel. I'd put that on anything. I mean, I've showed people that, and they commented on more of how cool it is from an adventure away from the city life, because obviously I'm in the city life in Philly. And now I was out in Wyoming chasing antelope, and once again, luckily, I mean, it was pretty easy draw out there, public land. I went out there, drove 30 hours, stayed by myself in my truck, and I just chased it. August, I think 19th through the 23rd or something like that, and it was hot, but dude, antelope.
Dude, you said some stupid like 15, 16 stalks in 4 days or
17,
something.
bro.
17 stalks.
And let me tell you what, if you want to stalk at 17, it ain't like a 50-yard stalk. Let's go just check this out. Yeah. It's like all hands on deck, fucking like, we got to go kill this thing. I got my tripod. I'm exhausted going up and down these hills to try to get in range of these antelope because they're just hard to do. And let me tell you what,
with a bow.
With a bow. Yeah. I mean, listen, you want to shoot a rifle, go out there, get a rifle.
Well, just as we're talking about closing range.
Right. Bow. Difference. Bow is you kill an antelope spot and stalk with a bow, I'll shake your hand. That's good work. And then you film it, I'll even give you 2 thumbs up. That's it's unreal. Insane. So like I would say the percentage is like 0.01, but hey, there's a percentage of me changing to do it.
Oh, there's guys that have done it. There's just not
just
many,
a little bit, right?
I mean,
so like I wanted to showcase in that film what I do on a weekly basis when I travel, right? So obviously sleeping in my car, showering outside, trying to figure out how I'm going to kill something, get cool content, footage, and then put everything together, right?
Yes.
I think people have footage, but they don't have a story and put it together. Right. A lot of times you're like, oh man, how do I going to put it together? Like I got cool. Like I'm walking in a tree.
You can have a good film through good editing without the best footage.
Yeah.
And you can have epic footage that ends up being a shitty film without it being composed and compiled correctly. But dude, you're just obviously a disciplined dude with it. way that
every day.
I mean, in your job as well, but just to have that many different cameras, that many different file cards, that many different batteries, that's why to downsize a streamline, I'm using several of the same GoPros, several of the same batteries, and I'm keeping it small and light, but obviously they're not giving me the quality of your secondary camera work and everything is.
I think here's when I looked at what I want to do, right? So like I look at let's look at Ritz, because Ritz does a good job at Huntmasters. Does good producing, got some good cameramans, obviously is a stud with mission crossbows and all that stuff. I look at how he's producing and all that stuff, and I go, okay, I look at the cameras. I know the cameras that are using. Okay, all right, so how's the storyline? Okay, so how they're filming, how they're going to get their content. Boom, okay, cool. I got it set. So when I go out there every day, when I wake up, from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed, everything is calculated. Because when it's calculated, I know exactly how it's going to play if I can in the production, right? The production's the hardest thing because and listen, I can send my shit away to like whatever the best producers, but they ain't going to feel what I felt out there.
No one can tell your story.
No.
I mean, you can, and this is what I'm really hoping to get from. So I've been filming this year for Tac Driver TV.
Yep.
So
I like that
obviously
hat.
It's a dope hat, right?
It's a dope
So
hat.
I've been up there with Tac Driver and Zeus out at the Great American Outdoor Show. We'll be up there tomorrow. But so they're not going to go. They don't know my story, like you're saying. And what's awesome about Nick, he and I, he's just a badass motherfucker. He's cool as shit.
Jersey
he's
guy,
real.
Jersey
Fuck
guy.
yeah. He knows what's up. And he's not ever going to say, well, I own your footage or that's mine or, oh, you
which
can't
you
use
hear
that
all the
content,
fucking
which is
time.
why I've never really worked with anybody else.
Yeah.
But Nick's just, one, he's a friend for real. He's a dude that he's an absolute friend of mine as well. But what I think is going to happen with Tac Driver is going to be more of the highlight film.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they can't tell the story. And then hopefully through what they do and reaching a little bit bigger audience, I can then get people to say, oh, remember this deer, remember that sicka, remember this turkey hunt. Now come see an elongated, elaborate version.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
through my eyes and my editing and getting the full story of how it was for me.
Well, I think with social media now and people's mindsets, right? If you don't get them within 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you're done. And a lot of times I watch the films and I watch them all out because I want to see if they're better than mine. And I will tell you firsthand, if you're better than me, hey dude, good work.
Yeah.
Obviously got a team, whatever, that's fine. I don't care. If you're better than me, good work. I'm going to work my ass to beat the shit out of you next time.
Yep.
And that's what I do. But you look at a deer, whatever deer it is, and people connect with that, right? And they want to see the storyline of Radical did a cool thing of Uno this year, right? So Uno was 6.5, 7-year-old whitetail, big brow tines. They had, boom, third year, fourth year, fifth year. He finally killed him in the snow, quartering away, boom. Great work. Right? Killed him, all that stuff. Now he's got all that footage to there, right?
Yep.
And when people do that, they name the deer, they go, oh, that's a cool deer. That's Uno. I like Uno, right? I mean, just like they name it, right? I mean, that's what it is. I look at my 8-pointer I shot this year. I hunted, I don't know if you've ever done this before, and I finally did it. I hunted a specific deer. And I'm not a trophy guy. I'm a cool guy. I like cool footage. I passed enough deer I would have shot in a heartbeat, but it was not that deer. 72 days later, boom. He stepped in front of me with a doe. I shot him, broke his shoulder.
It was a fucking roller coaster. I remember.
And 7 days later, I finally got a last arrow, and then that's going to be a sick film.
Yeah.
Because of the roller coasters and the play that you like in social media, like everyone wants to see the kill and everything, but dude, it just doesn't happen the way you practice at 32 yards. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think with the cameras is a different thing. I think showcasing what we want to showcase, right? I mean, you could pick what you want. I mean, with different angles and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's just showcasing our adventures. And for me, when I travel, dude, you got to have some fucking balls to do what I do.
Yeah, and it's an adventure.
Yeah.
And I love when I can show. I like showing people my videos that obviously aren't opposed to hunting, but aren't hunters.
Yeah, they're on the fence kind of deal. I
not even
love
on
that.
the fence. Yeah,
hey,
but
like that sunset picture or sunrise picture you posted of the marsh a couple weeks ago. I don't know, maybe on Instagram.
yeah,
Dude, I showed someone the other day. They go, "Wow, that's beautiful. Where's that?" I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna have to walk 2 miles in.
you're in hell.
You're in hell."
Yeah, that's a picture of the beauty from
But
within
the
hell.
sunset is just so beautiful.
But I love when I can show one of my, I guess I'll just say film or videos, whatever you want to call
whatever
it, to someone that's not a hunter and keep them captive.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you look at History
you can
Channel.
do that.
Oh yeah.
You know you
You're done.
have
You got it.
have got something,
Yeah.
and the way you incorporate the drone footage and the scenery and everything else, it stays dynamic. And that's one thing I always say too. The longer I have to edit a video, the shorter it's going to be.
Yep.
Because anytime I feel like there's a moment of stagnant or stale or nothing kind of adding to the story, is chopping it down.
You know, it's funny.
It's
Funny you say that because I watched that film. So anything editing, I mean, it's funny. I got maybe 4 to 6 cameras that I edit with. Probably, I mean, I'm doing Africa now. If you don't go to Africa, go to Africa. It's sick. But that's probably going to be 20, 30 hours of editing. And then probably 10-minute, 12-minute deal. I got 7 kills with my dad rifle and me 2 with a bow. And I'm looking at that and I go, okay, man, the stagnant kills me. And I think it's boring. But then you also have to tell the story, right? So, like, there's times where you're like, oh, man, you're just walking aimlessly. But then you have to have that because that's what you do, right?
That's when the creativity of not capturing, but the creativity of compiling and editing and the use of audio,
music,
and the
everything.
transitions and the music and the audio and the transitions. That's where you take it from a different level of I mean, it's an art to capture it.
For sure.
You know, anyone can just point a camera, but to have it, the right filter or exposure and everything else and the right focus and everything, and to, the angles, everything is about angles in footage and how you're perceiving.
You can make a deer look really big with a wide angle.
Yeah, I mean, or just like, one thing I always try to do in my films is show relativity of distance by I'm not staying zoomed in the whole time.
Yep.
I want it back to where you can see that bow in my hand for a moment or something and then zoom in. So now you know how far it is. And one of the things people tell me all the time is like, dude, I felt like I was in the fucking tree with you.
Well, how about when they go, oh, you should have shot it. I'm like, dude, it was 83 yards away. 83. Do you know 83 yards? I zoomed in to make it look good.
And then you'll have the deer walk in and it's in frame, perfect, wide open view.
Done.
Looks like you could fucking send a bus at it without touching a limb. But from your view, 1 foot fucking higher, sitting in the tree stand, you got a fucking, log the size of a tree in the way. And you're just like,
I think it's funny. As soon as I started traveling and hunting, so the last 2 years, we'll say, I've probably ate 13 tags, states. So 2 years, 13 tags. And if you want to do the math, average cost $300 a tag from Iowa to
and that's just
Maryland.
the tag.
That's just a tag.
Not even the travel.
I don't even want to even think about that. So I look at that and I go, man, it's a fucking whitetail, dude. People go nuts about whitetail. Let's go bigger. Let's go elk. Killed that. That's pretty cool. Let's go antelope. didn't kill that
Well,
one.
and especially for Eastern guys like us,
Oh,
we don't
yeah,
have
you have no
elk.
idea.
Elk is a dream hunt. You know what
dude,
I mean?
it's so funny. It's like, what's your dream hunt? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Dream hunt's nothing. I mean, a sheep or a ram is a dream hunt because it's 40 grand. You go on a moose hunt or like, okay, so my caribou hunt hunting is 6 months away. Solo backpack style. Done. And a lot of people are like, are you going to come back alive? I hope so. But if not, it was badass. I hope you get my SD cards.
Either way.
Yeah, either way. So, like, I mean, I want to go Super 10. So, obviously, Super 10, you got big game animals. So, I got my elk already, got my deer, got my bear. Those are cool. But, dude, when we talk about adventure solo, you're looking at moose, caribou, bison, muskox, fucking, where the hell's muskox at?
Yukon.
Yeah,
Shit.
Yukon, and you got the fucking
know.
New Brunswick, whatever shit. Dude, you're in coffins. Bro, stop. And you're like, Mr. Tree Stand, I want to make sure I stay warm. Fuck, dude. You go in a badass adventure like that, I don't care who you are. I just went to Arizona, so Arizona.
It is just that. It's more of an adventure.
Dude, when you're solo, fuck, if you think you're going to kill stuff, stop. It's not that. I mean, it would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I killed enough stuff. But when you go out
That's
west.
why Remy Warren is one of the.
Well,
most
Remy Warren
badass
is honestly, the only people that I consider better than myself is Remy and Tim. Burnett and Remy. Now, every day I wake up and I'm going to fucking destroy them, and I'll tell them right to their face because I have no problem.
That's the goal.
But Remy just went to Hawaii, killed a sick access deer. And you know what's funny is their footage is not like anybody else's because it's badass.
Oh yeah,
and
them
it's
dudes are
solo,
fucking sick.
dude. And like they go kill it, and like they don't have the pretty like a nocturnal going through there for 400 feet per second, right? They got, or frames per second. They got fucking, the arrow goes right through them, and they're like, I kill them.
Yeah.
And it's wild because maybe they're just that good, but like, man, if I go over there and I travel and I kill something like that, but buddy, I'd fucking go nuts.
Oh, dude, I loved it when you shot that fucking elk.
Oh,
you started
man.
doing the fucking
Yeah,
running man in
shaking.
place. And, yeah, but you kept that camera steady
Yeah.
on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was
I
funny.
had so
as
many
shit.
angles, man. You know, it's funny. I did that elk thing, and I honestly didn't think I was going to even see an elk. I never seen an elk before. And then have him come bugling at 20 yards and then
Screaming in your
screaming
face.
7 yards. And my buddy tells the story better because he was actually calling, and it wasn't a total solo hunt because I would have got my ass whooped because I'm just stupid.
It was solo filming. You had a guy calling.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah. That's
so
yeah.
the cool part was we met on the backstory, and you'll see some of the footage wherever I put it for you. But we met online. He said, let's come out, go elk hunting. I've been out there for a couple years. I know where they're at. Let's get one on film. I want to see like how good you are, basically. So we went out there, stayed in camp. The camp was badass, dude. Like in the mountains, just like you want
Part of the adventure.
Part of the adventure, exactly. Like you put the 4-wheeler, the whole 9 yards. Then you go out there, first day, you get fucking bugles going in there, and you're like, holy shit, that's fucking sick. So now I'm like shaking, and the thing's coming in 7 yards, and I'm like, and with the story he tells, he's off to my left. I could see him. I couldn't see the elk, but when he bugled, I knew where the elk was. My buddy was at full draw. And from a hunting industry and all this selfish bullshit, he didn't shoot that elk. And the reason why he didn't shoot the elk, because he wanted to get me on film. And that fucker came up on me at 7 yards, and I killed him.
It's epic. Footage, too.
And to shoot him, we hugged afterwards. We were crying, and he goes, I had him at full draw. I just didn't shoot him because I wanted you to shoot him. And then from that moment forward,
and that's a guy you just met.
I just met.
through hunting.
And from that standard, what you can call whatever bullshit in the hunting industry, friend, foe, guys that are selfish, they just want to kill for them. That guy right there that day, he went out from Iowa. We drove out to Colorado. He spent 9 days. He didn't fill a tag, which tags are not cheap. And he let me kill that deer, that elk on footage. And I mean that right there. I mean, if you want to talk about friendship, that's what it is. And I actually showed my my girlfriend the footage of us in Iowa. I had my elk mount and we were talking about that day. And I'll put that out there too, because literally he shoots 180s, 190 inch deer out in Iowa, kills elk like you and I freaking shoot freaking squirrels. And to watch, to see him just be like, dude, you remember that day? Remember when he came in and like you killed him and then we took him off the mountain? Wow, man, that's fucking cool, dude. For a city boy like me that I don't even know if I saw a 100-inch deer before, to go out there to kill an elk. And it's out there, man. If you want to call it dream hunt, you dream it, you do it. And that's what it is, man.
My cousin's husband and I are putting together, really looking at going to I think we're looking at Idaho right now.
Nice.
For an elk hunt.
Love it. Over the counter, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna go do an elk archery hunt. Super stoked about that. But so the other aspect of the shit you do that pays for all this shit and everything else, and the other half of what we see on your
Instagram,
fucking Instagram and everything.
Yep.
You put down the bell on camo and you get all fucking fancy and shit and start swinging.
I get all polo shirt up.
Some shiny shoes and shit, and grab the golf clubs.
Yep.
Dude, I don't know fuck all about golf, but I have learned so much by watching your fucking Instagram stories and pictures of people's poses and everything else. Like,
it's funny.
I feel like I could go fuck someone up on the front nine right now. You know what I mean?
I honestly, like, I've got more, like, the hunting and golf thing is obviously opposite, right? So you got the hunting.
It's all the discipline, like I was speaking of.
Sure.
You are such a highly disciplined guy that even watching your videos of the way you release your arrow, the way you anchor, the way you bring your finger over and touch down to where it's almost like a back tension release where you don't know when the shot's going to go off precisely, but you're doing it with a trigger release.
Yep.
That is pretty unique. One, I haven't seen many people do that, but that's what I mean by the level of discipline between what it takes to be an archer like that, what it takes to capture the film like that, and then what it takes to hit a fucking golf ball like that. And then not only do that, but your job is to read other people and then correct them, which is even another level of detail.
So if the hunters know their little golf trivia here, we'll see if they're good. Jay Gregory, Wild Outdoors, obviously big time sportsman channel. He was a old ex-golf pro, pretty good player. Does the hunting thing as well.
I'll
pretty
take
cool.
your word for it.
He's out, I want to say Indiana, Illinois area. A little bit different Midwest versus city boy in Philly or New York City, which obviously is a little different. But, you know, from a standpoint of archery and golf is very similar, right? I aim small, miss small, right? My thing is that
it's
target.
all body mechanics.
Oh, yeah. And I deliver the club specifically. That ball does exactly what I want to do. And then the reason why, if it doesn't do it, well, I got to fix that. And that arrow flies exactly how I want it to fly. And when I'm working, it's funny, I'm one of the best at what I do in the golf world. But when I get into the archery world, listening to people, Levi, Josh Bomar, good people, you know, what they do to perfect what they do, I would probably say I'm a little bit precise more in golf because that's what I do. But to listen and to watch what they do, man, it's sick. Arrows, knocks, veins, like weight, like that's fucking nuts to me. Now, golf club, no big deal. I can do anything. But weight and the arrow and how the arrow flies and how it hits, I'm finally, and this is kind of the thing, same thing with the camera setup. You better know what the fuck you have.
Yes.
And you better be good at it.
Yes.
Right?
And it's kind of funny how I kind of always thought the bow was the important part. But the bow doesn't kill the deer.
No idea.
The bow just delivers the projectile that's killing the deer. Mm-hmm. And I went to a higher poundage, faster shooting bow, and was no longer getting pass-throughs. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm pulling more, shooting faster, more energy.
Yep.
Why am I not blowing through these deer like I was? And even with the same broadheads.
Yep.
And it was my arrow
setup.
build.
Yep.
And it was I didn't have enough FOC, and I just didn't have enough full arrow build weight to carry that kinetic energy. And
it's funny
when I
had a
realized
guy-
it's not just my bow.
Oh, it's the arrow for sure. I had a buddy. I had a buddy in Ohio. I had some sexy Full Metal Jacket, Cameron Haynes style. Oh yeah, I'm cool, like whatever. And I shot him in a target, and I was like, oh man, I can't miss. And I shot my buddy's. I don't even know what the hell arrow it was in my same bow. His arrow, that fucker went in 6 inches deeper than my arrows. Okay, and I'm like, all right, something's wrong. Like, what the hell's going on? And then obviously, then you start dialing up the bow setup and then the arrow setup, and you're like, all right, now when you start doing that, and especially if you go into big game, bear, elk, you go to Africa, you got wildebeest,
real
zebras,
heavyweight,
real like big stuff, and I got grizzly down the way. Caribou is 6 months away, and let me tell you what, you better make sure you got a good setup up there.
Well, I tell you one thing that's different, and I think is kind of. I'm going to say new to the archery world, new to the hunting side of it, because I don't hear many people talking about this, but everything is, when they're talking about speed and arrow weight and everything else, that's out of a chronograph that's, a yard, if that, in front of your bow. And, talking to these guys that are shooting heavier weights, Ranch Fairy, he's one of them. Big Hoss, Ethics Archery.
Yeah.
Talking to these guys, the downrange speed that you're carrying, like I didn't want to take my arrow build any heavier weight because that's where I was like, I don't want to lose more speed than this. And talking to these guys and looking at these builds and testing in different ways, there actually is a point of optimization to where you are not losing the speed and the trajectory. Your arrow is actually continuing that momentum to where it may be slower coming directly out of the bow and in that chronograph, but 30, 40 yards down range, you're having a higher speed continue to carrier with that heavy weight. And all that just transfers to, more penetration and a kill at that point. But yeah, Big Hoss, Ethics Archery, he's the fucking dude when it comes to heavyweight arrow builds and just kind of blowing through shit.
I think, and people get crazy with the broadheads and all the whatever rages. I'll tell you this. If you got something that works, get after it, dude. And that's what you do.
The point... Broadheads, anything shot in the right place,
done. Kill it.
Field tip. You shoot a deer
funny?
in the right place with a field tip, it's going to die. But how often...
Did you see those plastic broadheads that just came out?
No.
My buddy, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this story, okay? Now, I shoot...
Plastic broadheads. For big game?
Yeah, yeah, for deer. I'd have to find the link. But he's a golfer, okay? And he said, hey, you got to check this out. And he checked out on a doe, whatever you want to weigh it, and it went through it and killed it within 40 yards. And obviously it was a good shot. But the hell, he had a plastic broadhead, bro. Plastic.
No shit.
And you got the guys
I
with
gotta
the crazies.
find that. I got to look more into that.
I'll send you
shit.
that. So I have...
But the point of a good broadhead is what happens in a bad shot.
Okay, so I'll
because
send,
a good shot, it doesn't matter
have,
what you're shooting.
How many? I got a lot of bad shots. I mean, I ain't perfect shooting.
It's hard self-filming too.
So I'll send you.
Tough.
I think off the top of my head, 4 marginal. One warthog in Africa, bush bleeze buck.
Oh, that wasn't in Philly?
No, I wish that was Philly, dude. That would be badass, dude. Warthog in Philly, dude. And then I had 2
I believe
does.
that happened in Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
but.
Ninja Turtles. That's it. So those 4 kills, they were marginable shots. I got them in slow-mo so you can see and you can make fun of how bad my shot is. I don't give a fuck because they're dead. Okay? So I'll show it, no problem. I have no problem showing my thing.
Well, real no bullshit. It happens.
It happens. And if someone says they don't hit a bad shot, dude, I mean, I guess you're the greatest archer in the world. because shit happens. One step is everything. I was in Africa. I actually, I'll send you the footage. I got the GoPro over the shoulder. Bleeze buck is coming in. As it's going, I didn't lead it enough, and the arrow hit it back. Then I had just a sick stalk and killed it within 50 yards of where I shot it. But it was a marginal shot.
Yeah.
Went right through it.
Well, you followed it up, did what
liver,
you
yeah,
had to
no
do,
problem. Yep.
yeah.
And it's amazing how people go, oh, the rages are just open up great. Well, dude, hey, listen, if you shoot a rage perfectly, it's great. If you shoot a freaking fixed, it's great.
I will tell you this. I don't like to talk shit on nobody, but raw, real, no bullshit. And I don't give a fuck. I spent all weekend up at the Zeus booth.
Yeah.
And everyone that comes up,
shit about Zeus.
They're dope as fuck. But
Dope.
everyone I sat
I might
and
get a
talked
tattoo
to
of
there,
Zeus later.
I could probably get that hooked up.
I like that.
But so everyone that I talked to there, obviously my first question is, what kind of broadheads you shoot?
Yeah, love it.
And everyone, not everyone, but I am going to say fucking at least 80% of the people that were upset with their broadheads
Yep.
and specifically looking for a new broadhead
Yeah, well, of course.
were shooting rage.
Well, it's just where they shoot them, dude. I mean, listen, you can shoot them perfect and they look like a superstar. But if you shoot marginal, dude, you hit a bone, I'm nervous. And let me tell you what, Lee Lukoski, listen, he's a stud. If you watch where his arrows go and he uses rages, they are perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't care
And
about,
again, if you hit the deer in the right spot,
yeah,
it
you're
doesn't
good.
really matter
I have
what
no
you have.
problem with that. And let me tell you what, dude, I don't give a shit what you use. Just have fun and kill something.
Mechanicals just rob so much kinetic energy.
Yeah. And just the chance of fault.
And one thing that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration is a lot of times you're not going to get a pass through with a mechanical because of the energy it takes and this and that. And some people, they do. And, usually it's that perfect shot. But again, the broadhead comes down to the marginal shot. And a lot of people don't think about the situations where it's like, oh, you got 20 acres to hunt. I had a property where I had 2 acres to hunt. I need that fucker
Dead.
to drop dead, and I need a blood trail.
Yep.
I don't have a long range where it's like, oh, well, if I don't have a lot of blood,
I'll leave him overnight.
well, and sometimes that you need to.
Yeah.
If it's a marginal hit, but I'm saying it's like you need a blood trail because you can't just go scouring everywhere because you got to stay confined to this property. You can't just go searching other
and I
property
know
lines with.
too well.
And I mean, I think everyone's probably lost a deer to, well, maybe not everyone, but I think a lot of people have lost deer to property lines.
Yeah.
Imaginary lines that the deer don't give a fuck or know are there.
Hell no.
And
Or
they
posted
cross
property.
it, and they
And
say
in Pennsylvania,
you're not allowed to cross it.
in Pennsylvania, they're making purple paint trees now.
Purple paint.
Yep.
Maryland's blue.
For trespassing, it's purple. They like purple. I wish it was a rainbow.
Down here, it's blue.
You gotta make it
Yellow state, blue's private.
But I think, I mean, we can talk about anything from a standpoint. Like let's talk about crossbows.
What's your thought on it?
Pros, cons, I don't care. It's funny. My girlfriend, was this what's today? February 3rd. So our season ended January 25th. 2 weeks ago, I said, hey, why don't you get a license and let's go hunt? She grabbed the crossbow and she can hunt. And let me tell you what, dude, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to get someone that never had a license for a bow. She shot gun before and whatever, but had a bow, grab the crossbow, and she could go out and hunt.
Yep.
That was fun, dude.
With not a whole lot of practice.
Not a whole lot of practice.
To build confidence.
To go out there, dude. We shot a few times. She shot in a target. She was confident. She was happy. And, dude, I am ecstatic. You got someone to freaking do that, dude.
My position on a crossbow is I believe archery with traditional bow or compound is a dedication, a discipline is a different level. And I think it's a completely different level than a crossbow. And I almost feel that compound or traditional archers should have something a little bit different, even if it's an earlier season than a crossbow or whatever. However, I would never ask for that. I would never push for that to happen because we need crossbows to introduce children, girlfriends, guys that can't pull bows, guys that simply have to work and take care of their kids, and they can't put that dedication and that discipline to then go out and ethically kill a deer. He should still have every right to go out and enjoy the woods.
Hey, how about
and try to put one in the freezer and continue the tradition?
I got a great story this year. So another girlfriend story. Her dad had cancer all summer. Got last treatment in end of August. Grabbed his crossbow, killed a giant 6-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
So he went from cancer, stage 4, gonna fucking die tomorrow. Going through chemo. Dude, he ain't gonna fucking pull a bow back to kill a deer. Grab the crossbow, kill the 6-pointer. And I'll send you a picture because it's badass. And the dude's 60. And I'm like, wow.
Hell yeah.
I'll shake your fucking hand,
See,
dude.
that's why,
Congrats.
I being a hardcore bow hunter and everything,
Me
and
too,
as
dude.
much as I
Hell
practice and as much time as I put in, it's a weird position. I feel like maybe I should have something for putting that extra work in, but I would never ask
You know
for
what's
it.
funny?
I
look
never
at,
do that.
I look at, oh man, I don't want to say Ritz again, but I look at Ritz a lot because he, obviously I see him.
Obviously, a lot of these guys you mentioned,
Hunt
them
Masters
because you look
and
up
Lindsay
to them,
Way and all those guys. I mean, fuck, the footage is sick. What they do is great. Greg Ritz has got his 2 daughters in the sport. It's awesome. I look at kids and I go, okay, when I was younger, could I use the crossbow? Probably. I could have shot enough deer with them. But when I get older, what am I going to use? I'm going to use a compound, traditional. Am I going to use a crossbow still? I don't care. I don't know. But like, there's got to be a point where it's like, okay, crossbow was introduced in the sport. Now it's like, let's hone in.
But again, some people just don't have that time.
Oh, of course.
Some people don't have that time, and they should still
And
be
honestly,
granted.
if you
and not only should they be granted that in a just for them personally and everything, but you and I, we're not going to have the right to go out and hunt with our bow, whether it's a season just for us or not. We're not going to have the right to do that without the guys and girls that are shooting a crossbow, that are being introduced to the sport through a crossbow and everything else. It is an absolutely necessary tool to everything nowadays. Everything is just faster paced, and no one has time for shit.
No, of course not.
It's not like it used to be where, you did things to fill time. Now it's like you do shit to try to fucking streamline to find time. It's just a different day and age. So I personally enjoy shooting my bow. I like grabbing my bow.
That's so fun.
I love going outside and just sinking arrows in the target, walking around the yard, shooting different angles. And to me, that is like, it's even fucking therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. Some people enjoy it. They ain't got time for it. Some people are just like, man, it's a tool to kill a deer. Like,
and honestly, like if you step, like, listen, I would take my Elite over a shotgun because I shoot 1,000 times more bow than I do shotgun. Just because, I mean, like I would take, if we had a target out there 100 yards, I'd shoot my bow, then a gun, because I know I can kill it.
You're confident
I can
in
shoot
yourself.
a target. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done it thousands of times. But, if someone can't have that confidence in anything, grab a crossbow, because you'll have confidence in that. No problem.
So in all this, do you have any sponsors in any of this?
No.
As far as hunting side?
It's funny.
No.
I have some people that give me like products and
so partnerships.
Basically. But like from a sponsor standpoint, no one goes, hey, here's X. I want that. Right now, should I go a little harder in that side of the business? Probably. Do I know anybody in the business? No. You know, it's funny. I look at Shocky's easy to do, but like Shocky versus me. If I was Justin Shocky, how am I doing? Pretty
People
good.
would know.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
People would know. Yeah.
Pretty good.
People would know you.
It's pretty easy. I'm like, woo, I'm going to go to Canada now. I'm going to go to Istanbul and do good, right? When you're not the Shocky, you're not Lindsay, you're not Waddell, you're not anybody, you have to start to do shit, right?
Exactly what
Just
I did.
Got to. So when I don't have those guys that help me out, I just say, fuck it, and go do my thing. And hopefully down the road, I would love to have a sponsorship with Matthews or Elite or, you know,
Elite.
Elite Nose Jammer with Ritz. Who the fuck? What else? Bone Collector. I mean, they did a great job with their marketing and stuff. I mean, you got T-Bone, Nick, and you got Waddell. You know, you got three guys basically pulling tags every year. Badass. Nick just got back.
Entertainers, and killers.
And they're good dudes.
Yes.
And having a blast. You know, Realtree's kind of lacking a little bit with Jordan and who's the guy that kills all the Realtree monster bucks?
Dude, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I don't watch TV
Jordan.
shows.
I can't remember.
I honestly
But
don't.
it don't matter. It doesn't matter. Like you look at sponsors nowadays, it's like, hey, I would rather see the grinder, right, go after it. Like Whitetail Adrenaline, you can love them, hate them. They got badass footage. No sponsors, public land. Now, hopefully they go uncuffed, as they call it, and they go private because they kill some big deer. But I think it's badass, dude. You know, you got the hunting public, you got Onyx Maps. They got, I don't know, a million fucking other guys that want to get in there. But like, dude, we got platforms now, right? And for me, even if I had sponsors, if I didn't have sponsors, I'd do the same shit. I'd live out of my car and go do the thing. Like to live in, like to do the Bear Grylls and Man versus Wild and live in hotels as he does. Whatever, dude. Go have fun. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's where the loss of the love and the sport of what we do day in and day out versus the business side, right?
Well, I think
those guys are fucking grinders.
I
of
think
business.
that's why where the pendulum has swung back to it is the people that grind.
Yeah.
And I think even the everyday viewer, social media content, that again, it's the relativity. And businesses are starting to realize that. And that's why, I mean, it's kind of a fucking weird position I'm in. Like, I don't watch TV. I don't know almost half of the fucking names you mentioned. And it's not a disrespect to them. It's just, I feel like I'm so fucking far removed from the industry, yet I'm there. I'm at ATA.
Yep.
I'm at Harrisburg as myself, but also with people that I've partnered with and in the industry. And I tell you what, ATA was a fucking eye-opener for me because there was a lot of people I look up to and kind of knew, but didn't think they had a clue who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
And not only did they know me, but they were kind of excited to see me and shit and aware of what I'm doing. And when you don't have any sponsors, you don't have a team, you don't have other people putting your shit out there and you're doing it yourself, you don't know who's seeing it or whatever
idea.
else. So to find out how many people were, it was actually like a little head swelling, but humbling at the same time. But it's just a weird place that I've found myself in the industry where it's like I'm so far removed from it, but I'm in it because I'm more so connected to the consumer and the regular guy of it. It's like, I guess just never selling out and suckering in and just keep doing what the fuck I'm doing.
You know, it's funny.
I've just found myself.
Well,
here.
it's funny you say that because like I look at what I do, right? So like it's fucking shitty, dude. I mean,
tough.
The things I put on Instagram and Facebook to make my life look cool, I guess that's fun. I mean, people follow me and they go, wow, that's cool. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what the hell happened this week, right? So, like, I go to somewhere and they go, oh, man, dude, that was so cool. Let me show you my deer I shot this year. I'm like, all right, cool, man. That's awesome. Like, if that makes you all jacked up and excited about that, right? I went to the PGA show last week in Orlando, Florida, and PGA show is probably the biggest other than Harrisburg or ATA for golfers, right?
Right.
Golfers. I walked down. Obviously, I got my Stagstalker stuff on, rock and roll, no big deal. I got some meetings I got to meet.
Stagstalker, no scramble.
No scramble stuff on the golf world. But I'm walking down the way, and I get pulled, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" He's like, "I follow you on Instagram," and I'm like, "You do? Are you sure?" Because I don't know, right? Because I'm in the golf world and I don't really do much golf, but I do, right? And he's like, "Yeah, dude, you're Stagstalker," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Man, that elk hunt, dude, or wherever you were, you were in Arizona last couple weeks," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like that guy, I have no idea who he is. I obviously introduced myself and talked to him, and I found out what his tag was, and I'm like, "Dude, how did you find me?" He's like, "Oh, I just hashtagged one time and I saw your trick shot that I do on golf," which I do a lot. And then he saw me hunting, and then all of a sudden liked the hunting side and then followed me like that. And it's amazing how the golf world used the humble word a lot in okay, I got a really good job. Like, I'm humbled to be here. But I look at what you and I do and we bust our fucking ass.
Yeah.
And when I look at Brackett was at Harrisburg a couple years ago before all the shit went down. And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, I fucking wear your ass out every day. Like, you think you work, I got you beat every day. And every day I wake up to beat those guys because I do. Just what I'm bred to do. And whether it's footage, whether it's hunts, whether it's whatever. And I look at that aspect and I'm like, wow, the normal day guy can do anything we want to do.
Discipline and will.
Yeah.
If you have the discipline and the will,
yeah.
you
can do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough that, I have a great job. Family backs me up. No kids, no nothing. But you know what? If I had kids and all that stuff, they'd be in the same world. I'd be going after it hard every day. And, but yeah, I think people think the fact that what they do is some god in Disney World. And dude, all they do is just the same shit. They just get more opportunities. And if we have one opportunity, you better make it.
Yeah. When you got the moment, you got to capture it. And that's the same thing as self-filming. When you got that fucking moment, you got to capture it.
You better do it.
And that's kind of how you show and contrast what's different you from everything else out there. Even apart from being self-filming, but the filming, the editing, it's all creating content. It's all creative, a vision, a story, a feeling that no one else can really tell.
And when I started this whole filming aspect, obviously you watch it all, and then you are naive to what actually happens, and then you start doing it, and you're like, all right.
It's almost like I've sometimes felt like I need someone to film me self-filming.
Yeah.
If that fucking makes sense. I need someone to
just
come
to follow
along
me around.
Just to follow me around and watch all the fucking stupid shit I got to go through with all the different cameras and backtracking and setting shit up and everything else. It was that's why I need a cameraman to film me self-filming.
And it's so funny. I talked to so many guys, and they're like, "Oh man, I self-film." I'm like, "All right, well, what's your setup?" And they tell me, and I'm like, "All right, cool." They're like, "Dude, I had to bring everything in there." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of what you do. You have tree arm, you have tripods, you have bow, you have case."
Yep.
And Arizona was an eye opener for me getting ready for Alaska, because Arizona was.
Let's talk about that. You got Alaska coming up. What else you got coming up?
So I got 6 months. So I got Alaska coming up. I got all my episodes 8, 9 different content coming up. I gotta get some revenge on those fucking antelope out in Wyoming. Mule deer. Oh, the cool part about mule deer, here, check this out. I don't know if people know this, but you have to do a little research on your tags. So I bought a mule deer tag in Arizona over the counter January 2nd, okay? Their license and tag is a calendar year. So if you don't tag out in the 2020 year, you can go back into the fall and December and use the ssame tag.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, calendar year.
yeah, so I don't tag out in January. I had a blast. It sucked for mule deer. Fun for javelina because I killed one. But I can go back in December. So I basically saved almost $500 just doing that, right? So Alaska's going to be big because A, it's solo. B, it's backpack hunt. So they only allow you 50 pounds. I wanted to go moose. The guy wouldn't want me to go moose solo because you just don't do that solo. You got to do it with a guy or a guide. So caribou solo, drop you off, GPS, pick you up in 10 days. Hope you survive. Grizzly bears, kill caribou. Now they're going to be in velvet, which is going to be cool.
That's dope.
That's
shit.
middle of August, so temperature is going to be anywhere from 37 to like 62. So that's the range, which is comfortable. It's not crazy.
Just say the bugs shouldn't be too
not too bad.
insane.
But it's not going to be that cold, so I don't have to worry about fire craziness. So, dehydrated food, all that shit. Like, just what you do with that. And for me, I look at Remy and what those guys, Tim and Remy, do. I want to expand what I do solo and be badass motherfucker.
Well, and talking about them, another guy that kind of goes in with them, talking about Tim and Remy is Meat Eater.
Yeah, Steve Rinella. Yeah, Rinella's great.
And Steve Rinella, you look at a lot of the Meat Eater episodes, they're not always a kill shot.
No, they're cool, dude. He's brought some badass things.
It's about the adventure. It's about just the entertainment and the information. You don't always have to have the kill. Adventure.
He went on a goat hunt with Giannis, whatever his name is.
Giannis Patelis.
Yeah.
He's a wealth of information too.
For sure. All those guys are. I mean, listen, when you do that full time, you got some shit that you figured out. And to watch those guys.
It made me feel like I don't know shit.
No, I know
I've spent my lifetime doing my thing. But at the same time, if I brought one of them down in Chesapeake and I was like, hey, let's go out and try to kill some snakes, they'd be like, a what?
Yeah.
You mean like copperheads? I'd be like, all right, see, you don't know what the fuck's going on now. But, it's a completely different thing.
It's a different life, right? I mean, what they're doing.
Well, actually, when you got 6 months, well, fuck that. You got we got snakeheads and shit to kill and film before that. So
we got so much.
That's going to be our next adventure.
Bow fishing. It's funny, bow fishing. I never thought was cool, and then I started filming and shooting, and dude, it could be fun, man.
And the footage the way the lights are on this boat.
Yeah. It's all about the lights. It's all about the lights.
It can be so epic, and the camera.
Yeah. I mean, that's Sony A7 III.
Dude. That's when we were just looking at the footage. Nick and I were looking over the footage I got with my A7 III. Yeah. And it's tough with mine because I have that 24 to 240. Mm-hmm. So I can't get close to anything or it goes fucking blurry and looks like shit. So you got to learn that.
Well, it depends on the f-stop too, right? You have to have that. Mine is a 2.4, I think.
But then with the light, obviously all of it, the f-stop changes everything with the light and everything else. So it is a fine tune, but when you get it right, it's just so dope,
dude. And so not for nothing, those carps are sexy, swimming up along the boat, and you're like, fucking, dude, I got some sick like.
Oh, dude, we had a good time doing that. We had a fun footage. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna post that video up.
Yeah. We can post a lot of footage, man. I don't give a shit.
Dude, this episode is gonna be full of shit from just the different stuff we've talked about, and like I said, I'll be hitting that button to boom, do the sound drop, and let everybody know we got something going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. This has been a good episode.
Hell yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
For
sure. We got, we're both going to go up Harrisburg tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is February, right? So like you got the Harrisburg show. I don't know what you got. We got bow fishing. We could probably do one, and then Alaska coming up. I mean, you drop in, no matter what you do, whether you're going to go hunt or just survive, it's a badass fucking time. So,
oh yeah,
I'm ready to go.
It's going to be fun. You know, I really respect what you do. I think you got good shit. I know how tough it can be and everything else, especially the whole solo thing. And it's something unique. There's not guys doing it much anymore.
It's tough.
Or if they are, let me rephrase that. There is a fuck ton of people doing it. There is very few people doing it in a quality manner anymore. So let me rephrase and put that there. Thank you very
much. I appreciate that.
Every guy with a GoPro just fuck shit up for me with your
I'm a self filmer. First of all, hang on. Let's
with your crooked ass cell phone video.
Let's get this kind of like rocked out, because I've had enough conversation with enough hunters.
Enough conversation and a few Tito's. Continue.
Yeah. We have no, the Tito's are good. So here's the deal. Self-filming, okay? So you film yourself kill something or walk in the fucking trees is fine.
Adventure to do
no big deal. I don't care if you kill something or not. But to just do it with one camera, GoPro, is kind of like, I don't know, kissing your sister. If you want to go all in.
So it's a place to start?
Yeah, it's a place.
What do you mean?
It's kind of it's a place to start, but like we can't go full in and like I'm a self filmer. Like I got a girlfriend. Oh, hang on, who is it again? So I look at a self filmer and I go, okay, what's your setup? Camera setup, producing, or you get a producer, it's fine. I don't care. Second angle is huge, right?
It's the most important once you start to edit or tell a true story.
I think if you can put up that second angle of you killing that sika
is
going to be just solid.
Oh, the second angle is better than
the main, because it's perfect.
That's what I mean. It tells the relativity.
Exactly, right? And it showcases what the situation is at the time, right?
Exactly.
I'll give you my my second angle on the javelina, and you can see it over my shoulder, over my main camera. Everything's in frame, and you're like, it's not that hard because everything's there with the GoPro. Or Tacticam, whatever you want to use. But second angle, like I use my A7 III for my interviews and like in the tree close up because I have my XA20 right on an arm.
You need to start using an Assassin Reach for that bitch.
Yeah, by the way,
we'll take a look at that in a little bit.
Let's talk about Assassin Reach for a second, because I need one of those when I'm in a tree stand, because I've seen enough. I don't even know what you want, utility.
It's the versatility
of the Assassin Reach that is could change the market for Fourth Arrow and Muddy. I mean, really? Let's talk about that for a second.
I mean, pretty much anybody talking about camera arms at this point, there is someone that brings it up, which I am very thankful for, because I have not put shit into marketing besides just what I do. And engaging with people.
Yeah.
And when people ask or explaining it, and then I've had people that have gotten it and just fucking love it. The only person I know of that has sold theirs, he sold all of his filming equipment
because he didn't want to film.
He had, I think he fucked up on a big buck, and he said, I am not doing this filming shit anymore. He said, I am just going out to kill shit. I'm selling everything. And it's kind of funny. You'll see my buddies at Fourth Arrow while we're at Zeus. They happen to be right across, and they love seeing me the whole time.
And by the way,
we're just the greatest of friends. But anyway,
let's talk about the camera arms for a second, because I've been in the game for 3 years. Started with Muddy, then Fourth Arrow came out, and then I saw some of your stuff. Right. And I feel like my setup in a tree stand can't be beat. My camera setup, the way I film, the way it is, very simple. But I look at how easy your setup is versus a Muddy or a Fourth Arrow, and I look at it and I go, okay, something's good here. I got to figure it out. And if it fits in my system, I will use it. I look at the Muddy.
I think it's going to be perfect where you're going to use it. I think for the size of your camera and the way you're filming and everything else, it's not going to replace your main arm. It's going to replace your arm that you have the A7 III on.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be able to attach that to a limb.
Yeah, anything.
You can attach that to whether the tree splits. As long as it's like 3.5 to 4 inches wide, that fucker will lock down tight. Good. And it'll hold that A7 III. So I use, even with a microphone, anything.
So I use Cranford arms. So if you want to go Google, you can figure it out. It's like 6 inches and like 18 inches for that. So I have a $35 arm on a $4,000 fucking camera.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Yeah. This will, like I said, this will attach to any limb, any part of the trunk or a tree, and it'll give you 24 inches of reach if you need it.
Well, I know. I mean,
having the 3 section, there ain't nothing you can't fucking do.
I've seen that from there, and honestly, a lot of people go crazy with the fourth arrow muddy, and honestly, you can do whatever you want. I personally, if someone asked me about that, I don't want to go fourth arrow because I just don't like them.
Me neither.
So
I bought one, and I mean, if anybody wants to go deep into the story, fuck it. It's been about a year. I'll repost some of that shit too.
I like it. Get it.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Feed them fish. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds offensive. Fuck them. So,
yeah, but you know what? Everyone goes so nice. Like I live in the golf world, and I go, dude, you suck at what you do, right? I mean, I'll come up, I'll come after you. It's fine. I got stuff to back up.
Dude, that was my point. I mean, I've been punched in the mouth enough times to be held accountable for what the fuck I say,
hell yeah,
and I'll
dude.
Also back it up
for sure.
Dude,
if you got better footage than me, I will shake your fucking hand.
But it is all purpose. But that's why I developed my own shit. I was seeing where some things were lacking and I spend as many fucking hours in a tree as you, and you sit there and you think.
Yeah.
And whether you're thinking about how you're going to edit that next piece,
I go on Candy Crush,
or design a fucking camera.
Yeah.
Which is basically what I did. But dude, like I said, I'm a fan of what you got going on. I like your shit. And if the sponsor thing is kind of where you if you want to talk to some people, someone kind of in the industry. I know a lot of people. Yeah, sure. Just kind of have stayed sponsor free myself for the most part. There are some people I'm working with. Possibly something with Elite. There's maybe Gator Outdoors. There's a lot of people that I could have something going on with. Obviously, Zeus and Tack Driver and Steady Form, they're my fucking boys. Yep. That almost goes without saying. That's why I didn't mention it. But yeah, they're my fucking crew. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So one more time, people that want to consume content and then contact you. Where do we get at
Stagstalker, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And honestly, I've kind of lack of YouTube stuff, but I got all my stuff's going to be on there in the next 3 seasons.
Dude, the fucking elk hunt.
Yeah.
The after the shot is some of the dopest fucking footage I've ever seen.
I can't wait to do it again.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, this is just like looking at it.
Right. All right, y'all. Well, this was part 1. We're definitely going to have a part 2. Me and him, we're going to be up there tomorrow at the Great American Outdoor Show. Bet a bunch of y'all will be up there. This is podcast land, so the show's fucking over at this point, so I can't say see you there. Till next time, this is KiLLs It Podcast, on with Stagstalker, self-film, solo hunting. It's about the fucking adventure. Of course, we want to kill shit, bloody up them arrows. That's the goal, but it's about the adventure. Don't forget that. Make sure you get some new people in the woods, because without them, we ain't gonna have this to do ourselves. Peace out, y'all. Modern assassin, motherfuckers.
Get it.